Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
एवं विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीपद श्रीवाइंद्र जैसी भक्ति वेदांत संश्ल प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथ श्रीमद् भागवतम की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, Chapter 10, Text number 6. Nirodhosyanusayanam. Nirodhosyanusayanam. Atmana saha shaktibihi. Atmana saha shaktibihi. Muktir hitvanyatha rupam. Muktir hitvanyatha rupam. Sarupena vyavastitihi. Sarupena vyavastitihi. Nirodhosyanusayanam. Atmana saha shaktibihi. Muktir hitvanyatha rupam. Sarupena vyavastitihi. Nirodhosyanusayanam. Atmana saha shaktibihi. Muktir hitvanyatha rupam. Sarupena vyavastitihi. winding up of the cosmic manifestation. Asya, of his Anushayanam, the lying down of the Purusha incarnation Mahavishnu in mystic slumber, Atmanaha, of the living entities, Saha, along with Shakti Bihi, with the energies, Muktihi, liberation, Hitva, giving up, Anyatha, otherwise, Rupam, form, Sarupena, in constitutional form, Vyavastitihi, permanent situation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. The merging of the living entity along with this conditional living tendency with the mystic lying down of the Mahavishnu is called winding up of the cosmic manifestation. Liberation is the permanent situation of the form of the living entity after he gives up the changeable gross and subtle material bodies. Kindly repeat. The merging of the living entity along with his conditional living tendency with the mystic lying down of the Mahavishnu is called the winding up of the cosmic manifestation. Liberation is the permanent situation of the form of the living entity after he gives up the changeable, gross and subtle material bodies. Purport. As we have discussed several times, there are two types of living entities. Most of them are ever liberated or Nitya Muktas, while some of them are ever conditioned. The ever conditioned souls are apt to develop a mentality of lording over the material nature, and therefore the material cosmic creation is manifested to give the ever conditioned souls two kinds of facilities. One facility is that the conditioned soul can act according to his tendency to lord it over the cosmic manifestation, and the other facility gives the conditioned soul a chance to come back to Godhead. So after the winding up of the cosmic manifestation, most of the conditioned souls merge into the existence of the Mahavishnu personality of Godhead, lying in his mystic slumber to be created again in the next creation. But some of the conditioned souls who follow the transcendental sound in the form of Vedic literatures and are thus able to go back to Godhead attain spiritual and original bodies after quitting the gross and subtle material bodies. The material conditional bodies developed out of the living entity's forgetfulness of their relationship with Godhead, and during the course of the cosmic manifestation, the conditioned souls are given a chance to revive their original status of life with the help of revealed scriptures so mercifully compiled by the Lord in his different incarnations. Reading or hearing of such transcendental literatures helps one become liberated even in the conditional state of material existence. All the Vedic literatures aim at devotional service of the personality of Godhead, and as soon as one is fixed upon this point, he at once becomes liberated from conditional life. The material gross and subtle forms are simply due to the conditioned soul's ignorance, and as soon as he is fixed in the devotional service of the Lord, he becomes eligible to be free from the conditioned state. This devotional service is transcendental attraction for the Supreme on account of his being the source of all pleasing humors. Everyone is after some pleasure of humor for enjoyment, but does not know the supreme source of all attraction. Rasovai saha rasam hi evayam labdhvanandi bhavati. The Vedic hymns inform everyone about the supreme source of all pleasure. The unlimited fountainhead of all pleasure is the personality of Godhead, And one who is fortunate enough to get this information through transcendental literatures like Srimad Bhagavatam becomes permanently liberated to occupy his proper place in the kingdom of God. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the next two topics of Srimad Bhagavatam among the 10 have been listed here, summarized: Nirodha and Mukti. So till now Shukadeva Goswami has described about Sarga, which is creation, primary creation; Visarga, which is the secondary creation; Sthanam is the different planetary systems; Poshanam, protection of the living entities by the Supreme Lord; then Utayaha, the creative impetus of the living entities or the fruitive activities; then Manvantaras, the different Manvantaras; and Ishanu Kataha, the signs of God or pastimes of the Supreme Lord and his devotees. And today we see here Nirodha and Mukti is described. So 8th and 9th topic. So what is Nirodha? Nirodha is winding up of the cosmic manifestation, all the different energies of the Supreme Lord, winding up of all of them, and the living entities into the Anushayanam, the Supreme Lord, the Purusha Avatara, Mahavishnu, Karana Shai Vishnu, who is in his mystic slumber, from whom entire universe has emanated, all the main 16 elements and the living entities have come out. Now all of them are retracted back into the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Mahavishnu. So that is Nirodha. And then Muktihi. Muktir Hitva Anyatha Rupam. Hitva Anyatha Rupam. Giving up other form. We all assumed different forms and we are all considering this form as us. But this is not our real form. Swarupena Vyavastitihi. When we attain our original constitutional position, the position that we are holding now is not our original position. It's like in a drama, an artist, he may be position of a king or a beggar or a queen. That is not his original Anyatha, it is a different Rupa. It is not his original. But when he comes out of the drama theatre, that is his Swarupa. Of course, spiritually that is also not Swarupa, but as an example. So similarly, this material world, whatever forms we have been taking, 84 lakh species, they are not our Swarupa. The Swarupa is different. So when we come to that Swarupa, that is Vyavastitihi, permanent situation, that is called Mukti. So Prabhupada in the purport, he has explained that there are two kinds of living entities. One is a Nitya Mukta and another is Nitya Baddha. So this entire material creation in this creation and beyond this creation, there are only two types of living entities, Nitya Muktas and Nitya Baddhas. So Nitya Muktas are always ever liberated, as they are always under the shelter of the Supreme Lord because of their serving nature, because of their being in the constitutional position, which is Jivera Sarupai, Nitya Krishna Das. However, opposed to them is the Nitya Siddha, Nitya Baddhas, who are the mentality, who have developed the mentality of lording over the material nature. And because of the desire to lord over material nature, this material world cosmic manifestation has come out, and a living entity is put into this cosmic manifestation for two opportunities. One is the opportunity to fulfill his desire, for which he has come. An opportunity is given to fulfill his desire, and also an opportunity to rectify the mistaken desire that he has cultivated. He's been assuming, thinking that one day I will become God, one day I will become powerful, one day I will become happy, independent of Krishna. But that desire is not the constitutional desire. That is a Haitva Anyata. It is not his original constitutional desire. That is not his Swartha. So, the rectification of this desire, the opportunity also is given in this material world. So, two purposes. So, like yesterday, actually day before yesterday, there was one militant group has hijacked a train in Pakistan. That militant group is claiming that Pakistan is occupying their territory, and they have to be given freedom from that territory, and some of their territory people have been arrested, and that has to be released. So they are basically working for liberation of their whatever their area, region in the country. And Pakistan is saying that no, that region is belonging to us. We are going to rule that area also. That is part of our country. So like that, both of them are arguing from many years, and some have been called, some have been termed as liberalist or liberationist something, and then some have been termed as terrorist. So back and forth argument is going on, fights are going on. So both sides, they want to lord over one region. There is one patch of land in Pakistan that both of them are claiming it is mine, it is mine. So this is the lording over tendency. Of course, this is at a terrorist level. At different levels, every jiva is having. In his own personal level, subtle level, gross level. Like now India, Pakistan also, there is in Kashmir, each of them are fighting, this is ours. Ukraine and Russia are fighting, this is ours. Now America is saying Greenland is ours, we will purchase it. And some other country is saying no, it is ours. So this is lording over the material nature. So this tendency is there, whether it is geopolitical level, whether it is state political level, country political level, or individual level. So continuously in this world we are seeing this lording over tendency. But what is the original nature of the living entity? The original nature is that he is actually servant of Krishna. He is not master. That is his original constitutional position. So, in order to come back to his constitutional position, the opportunity is given in this material world by the Supreme Lord through the agency of this Vedic literatures. So, when we read through the Vedic literatures, previously the topic is also listed out, that is Ishanu Katha. So when we hear attentively, then what happens? That purification happens of that Isha Bhava, of that lording over tendency. In one lecture, Prabhupada says that this Isha Bhava is there. The Isha Bhava means, I want to become God. Isha means God. Controller. I want to become controller. Is very difficult to go. Actually, it is impossible to go. And it can only go. That Isha Bhava can only be, we can relieve ourselves from that only by the mercy of a pure devotee. So, when pure devotee blesses, very, very quickly, very easily, the jiva can give up his Isha Bhava. Otherwise, very difficult. Daivihi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. Maya has captured the living entity, and that capturing is so strong, the living entity cannot come out of it, out of his own strength. He has come into this capture out of his will, out of his desire to lord over the material nature. But to go out of this, of course, that also he has to desire, but it is not very easy. So, therefore, as it is mentioned here, the revealed scripture so mercifully compiled by the Lord in his different incarnations. The reading or hearing of such transcendental literature helps one become liberated even in the conditioned stage of material existence. So in the very beginning of Bhagavatam, one of the 6 questions is how the living entity can get liberated in this Kali Yuga. So there also it is mentioned, only by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam or Krishna Katha. So Krishna Katha is so powerful, anyone who hears that Isha Bhava is gone. So that a pure devotee's mercy is needed. Actually, in that particular lecture, Prabhupada also says, by eating Krishna Prasadam, that Isha Bhava goes. Krishna Prasadam is a mercy of pure devotee. So through that, lording over tendency goes. So this lording over tendency is very, very dangerous. In fact, in the 15th chapter, Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki, even in the 15th chapter at the end, the last sloka, Prabhupada in the Purport mentions 2 things. One who is a sadhaka, he has to be very careful when he is practicing devotion service. 2 things. One is while he is doing devotion service, lording over tendency. He has to be very careful, he has to give up. In the devotional service, lording over tendency. And then second is thinking that this is mine, that is mine. These 2 things are very dangerous. Sometimes it gets exercised even in the spiritual dimension, mistakenly because of our old habits. So one has to be very careful, always be in the consciousness that I am eternal servant of Krishna. I am always eternal servant. Just like Prabhupada gives the example that this material world is like a jail and we are all the prisoners. So for a prisoner, there cannot be any question of pride. Pride is for a normal citizen. Oh, I am liberated from this jail, I am outside the jail, that's a pride. But one who is inside the prison house, if he is thinking, I am a senior prisoner, I am a junior prisoner, I am big prisoner, I am a small prisoner, these are all, finally he is prisoner. I am a A-class prisoner, I am a C-class prisoner. He is finally a prisoner. So he has to be humble, considering that I have done crime, I have done illegal activities for which I am punishable. I am under reformation, and that one part of that reformation is to become meek and humble. So until unless this meek and humble feeling of servitorship is there is no question of getting out of the jail or the question of getting out of this material world. And that feeling of servitorship also will not come simply by mentally I am servant. Not like that. By really engaging as a servant of a pure devotee. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, like a dog, when the master calls, dog wags its tail and goes. And whenever the master will not call, dog is awaiting when the master will call. You have seen, no, dogs? They're always, they keep their tongue. So dogs are always awaiting when the master will call, very excited. He may not call for 10 days, but his excitement is continuing. And when that call is there, wags his tail, so happily he goes. So like that, disciple to his spiritual master, awaiting when my master will give me service. And when he really gives, very excitingly he takes the opportunity of devotional service. So, devotee or sadhaka is very focused on the order that Guru is giving, very much awaiting. And when it is there, he just carries it very excitingly, he is taking it. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says, Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kuru nandana. Vyavasayatmika, resolute determination will come when it is only one pointed focus. And what is that one pointed focus? Order of my Guru, that's all. That's the best example is Srila Prabhupada himself. Other than Guru's instruction, whole of his life, 24 hours, everything is doing for his Guru. So like that, a disciple has to become completely attached to the order of the spiritual master. Ekeha kuru nandana bahushakahi anantascha buddhayo. So what is this bahushaka? So many distractions will come in the material world. Bhoga, Aishwarya, Prasaktana. So many distractions. So a disciple or devotee is not interested in solving those distractions. What happens? These distractions, when they come, we get engaged into removing those distractions or solving those distractions. But rather than solving them or engaging in removing them, our focus should only be on the words of the Guru. How to engage in the words of the Guru. Once it so happened that I was in my college days. So that time I was in Krishna conscious, final year, about to join or something like that. So I was preaching among the college friends, college mates. So taking an opportunity, I organized a trip to Tirupati, Tirumala. Some influence I had got that time. We got a special VIP pass. I arranged it. Some 10 people came with me. So I told them, they have never gone to a temple any time, Tirupati temple. So good opportunity to preach. I organized a trip and we all went, booked a cab, distance. And all the while I am continuously telling them, see, lot of rush will be there in front of the Lord. Sometimes they will just pick you up and throw you outside the temple while you are taking darshan. But you should not bother about any of that. Just go, focus on the Lord, otherwise you will not be able to take darshan and come out. And very few seconds, even though we got VIP pass, very few seconds you will get opportunity to take darshan. All the while, every time I am continuously telling that only. They are very, so they have no experience what happens inside the temple. So the day came and some special puja was done. After that puja, everyone were pushed into the line for darshan, and then there also I am telling, can see so much rush is there. It will be very tough. Be very focused on the darshan of the Lord. So like that it is happening, and then as usual, huge rush and people are going inside. Finally, the main altar there. Just before the altar, we are all entering. Unfortunately, what has happened, the time when we entered the temple, that was the time when temple has to close. Within 5 minutes of temple has to close. So there are more servants of the temple who are pushing like anything. Literally they are holding human beings and throwing them outside the temple. So while this they are doing because of their routine temple closure time, we entered and they are saying temple has to be closed, we have to go, they are pushing. One of the who came with us in the group, they become very agitated. He became very agitated. It is she became very agitated. They are all pushing like that. And we know now how they push. Literally sometimes it hurts also. So then, you cannot treat me like this. What are you? You cannot like that. They started shouting. And how they are shouting? How she is shouting is, the Lord is there, and she is showing her back like this, and you cannot shout like that. She is trying to control everything. Simply they took her and threw outside the temple. I already told her that such things may happen. You just focus on the Lord. Whatever may happen, you push yourself to the corner, here, there, focus. So like that, then it struck to me, poor girl, her only focus is comfortably she has to have darshan. But it could not happen. And she lost the focus. Another occasion, sometime like that, Tirumala darshan was there, and my grandmother came. She is little devoted, like outside people devotion. The way she entered, a lot of rush is there, and then she came inside, she pushed aside everyone, very old lady. She pushed aside everyone and she is worshipping to the Lord. Even though people are pushing, nicely she is focused, and she came up. So when I recollect this incident, I see how much she is focused on the Lord, even though there are different circumstances for distraction. And the other side, she is getting distracted. So now, such distractions come into our life also. If we sit and solve those distractions, what will happen? We become engaged into or deviated from our bhakti. Rather, a devotee is very focused. Okay, distractions are there. Whatever minimal thing required without disturbing my devotion service, let me engage. There may be, suppose, some in the beginning of life, some parents' problem will be there. Devotee should not think, I will see all my parents' problem, then I will become devotee. It is impossible. Sometimes devotee may have different health issues. I will solve all my health issues, then I... Recently someone folk boy was telling, Prabhu, I want to show to the whole world I am a qualified person in this, then I joined, that I want to show. That is another distraction. If finally anyway you are going to give up, why you have to show that and give up? What is the use? Just give up. So these are all distractions. I want to show means what? That is again lording our tendency. Finally what we are still a bhikari, beggars only. We are a servant of Krishna. Before becoming servant, you are saying that I am master and wanting to adding some contamination and then joining. That's not correct. Correct thought process. What is the correct thought process? Anyway, I have to give up. Why not give up now itself? So, distractions will be there. Bhoga and Aishwarya, so many distractions. We should never sit and this will be there and devotion should go on. Strong. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta. Let's say, Vedavyas also is saying, Bhagavatam, akamo sarvakamo va. You are filled with kama. Akamo. You have no kama. Or moksha kama. Akamo sarvakamo va. Moksha kama. Udari. Tivrena bhakti. Simply engage in tivrena bhakti. Full focused on tivra bhakti. Intense devotion service. Intense. So, such things will be there. Maya is trying to pull through different distractions. She will try. Some health reason will be there. I will solve all the health problem. In fact, in medical science, they always say, there is no cure for any disease. When I joined, after few classes, there is no cure. Is there any cure for cold? There is no. Is there like that they talk? I was also shocked. So there is no cure for any disease. So what is it? What is that? Simply some adjustments are done. Go ahead. Devotion should go on. Then distraction will be there. Okay, nice, comfortable living should be there, and then with that I will be able to do. So the moment we think after doing all material adjustment, stability, then I will practice devotion service. That is where Maya will attack. She will keep on creating disturbance in our material situation. Kamala Dala Jala, Jivana Talamala. Jivana is like that only, like Kamala, lotus. What is that one drop of water on lotus cannot stay still. That is the constitutional position of that lotus. So material world is also like that. That's why this devotee is singing Kamala Jala Dala, Jivana Talamala. Jivana is like this only. Talamala. Sometimes health will be good, sometimes not good, sometimes material situation will be good, sometimes not good, sometimes current there, not there. But Bhajahu Haripada Nitere. Continue to do devotions. Continue. That should continue. So that Vyavasayatmika Buddhi should be there. Then Muktir Hatya Hitvanyata Rupam Sarupena Vyavastitihi. So that continuous, determined focus should be there. Then we become qualified to become liberated, even in our current situation. So when the material world winds up, most of the living entity, again they come when there is Sarga and Visarga. There are very few who become qualified to go to point of liberation. They become Nitya Siddhas or Nitya Muktas. They get the position of Nitya. And to come to that Nitya Mukta position, our focus on Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, especially Guru's order, has to be very single pointed. Whether I am practicing my Guru's order every day, every moment, that single point, even he doesn't even bother about liberation. Even liberation, thinking of liberation also is deviation. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I don't want even liberation. What I want is life after life. I want your service. So a devotee also is considering just service to spiritual master, service to the Supreme Lord is what is most important for me. And whenever there is any anxiety in devotion service, so there is anxiety in the material world, anxiety in devotion service. That devotee considers that anxiety as an opportunity for absorption in devotion service. See, there is a difference. Generally what happens? When we become disturbed, anxious in devotional service, we sometimes give up devotion service only. Whereas material world, so many anxieties are there. We never give up material world. So, anxieties will be there at devotional service. That anxiety is for becoming absorbed in Krishna consciousness. When we become, there is some service, some disturbance is there, and then when we are absorbed into getting out of that disturbance in that service, that is ekeha kurunam. But when we get absorbed into making material stability, material comforts, or any other facilities, that is not spiritual anxiety. So spiritual anxiety, that will always, we should welcome. That's why Kunti Devi is saying, Vipada santuta shashva tatra tatra bhavato darshanake. So we should be able to decipher whether this is helping me in Krishna consciousness. Because of my absorption in this anxiety, it's very nice. Fully I am engaged. Because I got so much of load of service, more service, I am so happy. Because I am uncomfortable in the devotion service, I am so happy. Sometimes when that service is little risky, we are afraid. But that because it is risky, your mind is absorbed into carefulness. Oh, let me be careful when I am doing this service. That absorption is there. So devotee understands this, analyzes like this, and he becomes very happy. Because his absorption in Krishna's service is very important. That anxiety, that load, that pressure he takes in the devotion service. Otherwise, in the material world, that pressure will come. So when such spirit is there, then such a devotee becomes qualified for liberation. Any questions?
As part of the services, we generally engage in services, VSN services. So this lording over tendency, so it can creep into this domain also, where when we are doing our services, we generally try to that lording over tendency, can it come over here also, or lording over will happen only when we take service for our personal service?
Yeah, personal. When we engage other jivas in Krishna's service, that is also our duty. When we engage other living entities in Krishna, Krishna is more happy. Krishna, individually if you do service, that is one level. But when we engage other jivas, other living entities, other conditioned souls into Krishna's service, Krishna is more happy. So that is not lording over. In the material world, you may have to use lording over tendency to engage in service. It may be there. But you are dovetailing your tendency. You are making a right utilization of that tendency. Understood, no? So, therefore, the other devotee should not think, see, Prabhu, he is overlording, he is lording over tendency, Prabhu. Yeah, but he is dovetailing it. By you saying, I will not follow his instruction, you are lording over, not he. In authority, he says, you do this. And the other devotee is thinking, see, Prabhu, he says, you do. What is this? No. By saying, opposing that, why he is saying, you are actually lording over. But whereas the other devotee who is giving instruction, do this, he is dovetailing his lording over tendency. Understood, no? And as you rightly said, lording over not for our gratification. When our goal is, okay, you have to worship me or you have to serve me, that is dangerous, contamination. That's why Prabhupada is saying, lording over tendency and possessing. This is mine, it has to be used for me, why it is going for other purpose. So, lording over can be dovetailed in Krishna's service by engaging other other conditioned souls in Krishna's service. That is very important. Okay. Of course, there is a risk. The risk is, while you are doing this, that contamination may creep in, wherein you may slowly, initially it will begin with good spiritual mind, but slowly it may become contamination. So that we have to be very careful. By continuous strong sadhana, our internal mind and consciousness gets purified, by which such tendencies will not creep in. Strong sadhana and strong reading Prabhupada books, such tendencies will not come. Okay? Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.